This blog is specifically designed to bring more awareness and information about what's happening in Afghanistan. Dean Lundberg's joining me today, and John Weaver as well. Dean works in our Strategic Frontiers office. And John, you've done work in Afghanistan and across the globe and continue to do ministry. And so thank you for joining us today to talk a little bit about what's happening. Even as we have gathered together today to have this interview, just as we came in, we heard reports of a disruption happening at the airport. Sad news, obviously. Where does that leave us right now in our communications with our missionaries and people on the ground in Afghanistan?
Well, thankfully, it brings Afghanistan straight to the news world's attention. So hopefully it's mobilizing people to pray. But just about an hour ago, yes, there was a suicide bomb attack. The rumor is that ISIS, Al-Qaeda is the ones that's behind it, because the Taliban would say, well, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to kill our own people. And but it has disrupted things at the airport. And so for our brothers and sisters in the country, from whatever nationality, it's still God protect them, be with them. Some are trying to leave. Some have left. Maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. But some now are realizing that maybe the way for me to leave's not there, right. And Lord, you're calling me to be right here in the midst of this danger.
We were talking yesterday, and you mentioned that when things like this happen, there is a sense of fear, and people get scared, and that's very natural. You've been there, done that. We know a little bit of your story, and you can talk about that. But there was something special you mentioned to me when that happens, and there's a little bit of a dispersion. God shows up, He speaks, and He encourages people in country. Tell me just a little bit about your experience with that and what you believe is happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when things like this happen, I mean, God does meet us. He's always with us, but He uniquely shows up in these situations. But sometimes it results in us having to scatter. And we talked about in Acts chapter 8, that's what happened. Persecution came and the believers were scattered. So in this context, God's highlighting Afghanistan so the global church can be praying. But in the country, it's causing a stir, a scattering, and yes, people are having to embrace suffering in this particular context, but it scatters the seed, it scatters the witness, it scatters the people of God in ways that we couldn't, you know what I'm saying? And so that's part of a mysterious thing that God's up to, yet there is loss and there is challenges and there are difficulties and there are pressures and stresses that come with that, but God uses it, as Dean knows and we all know, to spread His kingdom.
So Dean, you and I were talking, and you've seen this happen before. What is your hope through this? I mean, we can talk doom and gloom and just, woe is us, but we've got to have hope. We've got to hold on to hope. What is your hope through something like this for the believers on the ground in Afghanistan?
I would share John's perspective on this. I mean, we even have a testimony starting to come out. At least I've heard the one where not only are the people scattering, but I think they're becoming more sensitive to now what they have heard about Jesus before, and some have been responding now. They may have heard the stories of Jesus several times previously, but now they're hearing again from maybe friends and others, and they're responding to the Lord, and they're asking, how do I pray? How can I pray like you? And so we're seeing that response. And I think, to me, that this scattering is true. It is a principle in the book of Acts. When the believers scattered, the gospel went forth. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in this whole situation. It seems like, to me anyway, the church will grow even faster.